But yeah, so welcome everyone who joined, everyone who is watching our live stream. Welcome as well. Thank you for joining. By the way, if you are just viewing this video, click on that link, in the tweet, and you'll be right there with us in the parcel instead of just watching, and you can even dance. Look at that. So, welcome once again. Thank you all for coming. Today we have quite an interesting lineup of artists, DJs, talks, and we will move to Just in Case, who is standing right next to me with a cool Discord T-shirt. Oh my god, this is awesome. So just in case, I guess for your part, we could move all inside because there will be some live stream showcase, if I'm not mistaken. So we can slowly move. Follow me, everybody. Let me do this. Okay, follow me. Justin, let's start with you. How did you tell us about yourself? Where are you from, and how did you get to? Okay, he's scrolling. Wait for me. Wait for me. I need to interview you. Don't run! Don't run away! Don't run away!
Don't run away last second. I
Exactly.
just wanted to be close to the screen.
I know I'm not the prettiest person in the world, but hey, I'm not that ugly, so don't run away from me. So yeah, tell us about yourself. Tell us about your art. The floor is yours.
Okay, so I'm from Barcelona, and I started in the world of graffiti in the 90s when I was a kid. So there's a little bit of lag, but you should see in a moment. You should see me when I was like 16 years old. This is me. This is the beginning of graffiti in Barcelona.
Oh wow!
This is 92 probably. Really different time from now. There was no internet, no Facebook, no Twitter, no Somnium. We used to paint the walls, and we took pictures of our graffiti with a really cheap cameras to kind of have like a document, like I've been here, I've done this. But there was no place to share what we did. So I started taking pictures of all my graffiti and also the graffiti of my friends to like document this scene. Because with a graffiti piece, you never really know how long it's going to last. So I thought, with a piece of art that it's in the museum, it's going to be there for long. But with graffiti, it might get deleted. Some other graffiti writer with whom you don't have a nice relationship can paint over it. So for me, it was important to document it. So I started taking pictures of many graffiti. This is the 3D we used to do back in the days.
Yeah.
And on the next image, this is the 3D that people are doing right now. Then we have the characters that we used to do in the 90s. These are the characters we used to do in the 90s. And next we are going to see the characters that people are doing now. So for me, everything started with graffiti. So I started taking pictures of graffiti, but also of people in action, because I thought that taking a picture of the final piece is something that anybody can do, but taking pictures of graffiti writers in action was something more personal. So I started taking pictures of all my friends painting graffiti. And then I'm going to skip a few slides so you can see the action pictures. Okay. So it became like documenting the new world of graffiti for me. These are the kids painting on the street. The next one is Inocuo painting in a festival. This is Inocuo painting on the Urban Funk Festival in Barcelona many years ago. This was in Solivia, putting a paste up in Ibiza.
Nice.
So I started taking pictures of many of my friends in action, painting graffiti. This is Matthew Curran, an American artist who came to Madrid, and we went out for a night pasting up things around town. You see, I speak slowly because there's a little bit of lag, so I'm waiting
Yeah,
for the images to
yeah, no
come.
worries. We can
Okay,
wait for the images to come in. They are coming in nicely. At least I see them very well.
okay.
Um, so,
This is Olivia with a stencil in Paris. She's painting. I like
oh
this
wow,
photo because she's painting right next to Dali, and Dali's like looking at her, like saying, "What is this girl doing? Is she going to paint over me or what?"
this is cool.
Okay, so the next one is coming is Bitoy, making like a big stencil of Frida Kahlo. She's painting this stencil for the first time. You see, it's a new stencil. It's totally white, so she's
Hmm.
like using her brand new stencil. And the last one is Olivia again. The one that's coming is actually in Berlin. She's doing a paste up because when graffiti started evolving, people started using also posters, stencils, brushes. So the movement kind of evolved into what we now call street art, which is not really pure graffiti anymore. Graffiti still exists, but now all the street artists use different techniques. So what happened that when I started showing my pictures on the internet, people would ask me to censor their faces because graffiti is illegal, so people don't
Right.
want their faces around the internet. They can have problems. Maybe my mother is going to see me painting or whatever, or I'm going to get problems with the police. So they asked me to censor them, and that was something that went against my principles because I don't like censorship. So I didn't like to put some pixels on their faces because it made all
This is
my
cool.
photos, yeah, it made all of my photos look like police footage. So I decided to use a different technique. So I decided to use their characters and put their characters on top of their face. So of all graffiti writers, most of them do characters. I thought, okay, let's put the character on top of the face. At the beginning, I did it really quickly, like a copy and paste. I paste the character in 5 minutes, and then I can share the picture online. And then all the artists were really happy with this solution. They said, okay, it's cool. People don't see my face. I'm not going to have problems with the police. Nobody's going to know who I am. I'm going to be anonymous. This is another picture of a group of artists at the DJs Contra la Fam festival. It was a festival to raise money to fight against hunger. And I used each one of the artists, I used their own characters to replace their heads. But it was really quick. I did it in 5 minutes, just copy paste without any kind of real integration.
So that's
With
where the
time, I started.
CryptoPunks came in from. Now I see the origins.
Yeah, okay, yeah. This is probably similar to the Punks project. So then, with time, I started also editing the arms, the necks, because I thought, okay, instead of just replacing the head, which looks like okay, I can censor the face, but it's not really integrated. Let's also work on the arms. If one of the artists makes a green Yoda from
This is
Star
cool.
Wars, yeah, let's make also green arms. So I started integrating them more and more and more. Uh, to the point that I merged each artist with their own work. I create like some kind of blending, some kind of mutant or magical being that combines the artist and the work. And it started evolving to what I'm doing now. This one is Joanna Bravo from Menorca. She's an artist from Menorca. And this is David Monroe. He's an artist who makes fishes. So I made his fish face. So it's
Hmm.
little by little, I started discovering the secrets of Photoshop. I got a better camera, and I started doing. I started also traveling to the artist studios and workplaces instead of just capturing them in action.
Hmm.
I said, okay, let's go to your studio, let's go to your house, let's create a little setup, and let's do something that represents more your artistic work. So this one is Mr. Thumbs in his house in Italy. He lives in a really small village,
Hmm.
and now it comes where I really find interesting about the project, which is like creating stories about the artists. In this case, when I captured Mr. Thumbs, this is what I do now, which is more like at the beginning I used to do it in 5 minutes in Photoshop. Now I spend many hours, sometimes days, editing the same picture. So this one with Mr. Thumbs, then I developed little stories. Like for instance, this one was taken in his house in Valmontone, which is a really small town, really close to Italy. And Mr. Thumbs is an Italian artist. He makes graffiti, street art, graphic design, characters, toys. He's one of those guys who's good at everything.
Hmm.
And he spends most of the time in his magic attic playing with his friends and his dog. And he can actually interact with all his creations because one afternoon, when he was mixing different pigments of blue and green to try to find a deep shade of aquamarine, he accidentally discovered the magical paint. And with this magical paint, he can bring his characters to life. So since that day, he never feels bored or lonely anymore because he can bring his characters to life. He can play with them, he can interact with them, he can create worlds with them. The thing is, when someone they don't know goes up to the attic, they can hear the wood from the narrow wooden stairs squeaking, and they all stay really, really quiet, as if they were captured in a picture. Even Kiho, his pet, the small dog, stays really, really quiet to go unnoticed. Some of them even hide behind exotic plants. But if you have a keen eye for observation and you see some magical cigars still smoking and you see all the magical light in the room, you can realize that really magical things happen in this attic of a small Italian town when nobody's looking. And when I show this picture to the people, some of them say, well, this can't be true. Come on, he can't actually make his characters go to life. That's not true. Magic doesn't exist. Okay, there's a really important thing I want to tell to everybody who came here today. And it's the fact that magic actually exists. But there's a little trick about magic. And it's that only the people who believe in magic can see magic. That's why those who believe in it strongly defend its existence, while those who don't categorically deny it, because it's actually just a decision in your brain. You decide to believe in magic, or you decide not to believe in magic. I can tell you that magic exists because I've seen Mr. Thomas doing magic in multiple occasions. Every time he paints a mural, he's actually doing magic. If you think about it, he's creating something that will generate an emotion in the viewer. If someone walks by that wall he painted 2 weeks later, or 6 months later, or 2 years later, he will feel an emotion when he sees the mural, when he sees the piece of art. Maybe it will feel happy or sad or whatever, but that artwork is going to create an emotion in someone he never actually met. He never actually have contact with this person, but through his work of art, he can generate an emotion in the viewer. That is actually the magic of creation, the fact of communicating emotion to someone you have never seen. And that is what Mr. Thomas does. He can create from his brain, from his ideas, he creates these characters and these worlds, and those ideas generate emotions in other people. That's the magic of creation. You have some idea in your mind and you transform it in something physical. You transform it in a mural, you transform it in a toy, in a doll, whatever comes from your mind, you make it physical. So everything actually, when we were talking with Mr. Thomas about that, we discovered that everything actually comes from the mind. Everything you've seen in your life, all the books you have read, all the movies you have seen, all the stories you have heard, everything started in someone's mind. Then it becomes something physical, and that is the magic of creation. And I think I have already wasted all my time talking about this.
I already forgot about the time.
Space.
The story was so thank you. The story was so amazing, and I read comments about yes, magic exists, and magic is manipulation of the mind, and if you don't manipulate your mind, someone else will. Panjoy says that's a nice story. And Kara says absolutely amazing. I just can only agree. Let's cheer up, everybody. Press that cheer button. Let's do it. Let's do it. Come on, show me your yes. Yes.
Thank you, guys.
This was awesome. The presentation worked really well. Amazing images. Some really cool idea about, like I like, what I like about this is that you came to this kind of path you are having organically. You didn't push yourself. It just happened. You just felt it that way. You needed to make a picture. People ask you to censor their faces. Then you decided to do this and that. It's a very nice story, and thank you for showing us this. I will later probably come back to some of the art pieces which are hanging here with some links. So now the next. Oh, it's